Jeffrey is a coward. He starts internet arguments online for no reason. He just wants some attention and a feeling of importance. But when it comes to real life in person, Jeffrey keeps his mouth shut. He sees something wrong, he hears something that he disagrees with, and he doesn't say anything. That's because Jeffrey's weak. He isn't really the kind of man who would truly stand up for his values. That means that Jeffrey doesn't really grow. Adonis's favorite pastime is having intellectual, deep conversation with his brothers. They look up and ponder at the sky. They contemplate the existence of man. Of course, Adonis and his brothers don't always agree. And that's the beauty of their relationships and their discussions. They have positive, friendly, loving disagreements, and that's how they grow. They show criticism to each other's statements, but then they break it down with love. Beautiful. About a week ago, I was doing like a study session with two of my close friends, Chris and James, who I go to the gym with quite often. We're all studying on like different things, but as we get random thoughts, we kind of, just talk out loud and have conversations. And this truly felt like, I'm not gonna lie, this truly felt like my first kind of intellectual conversation where we were discussing like philosophy and religion. And it was actually very, very enjoyable. One thing I loved about the two guys that I was with was that we weren't afraid to disagree with each other. There was times when I would say something which I was certain that was a fact, and that everyone, if I said it on YouTube, everyone would agree with me, like, oh, Hamza, you've changed my life. But these guys would be like, no, that's probably not true because of this. And it's like getting your viewpoint challenged, but in a friendly way where you can still take on board what the other person is saying. I grew a lot from that one singular conversation. One of the topics we talked about was Islam and being able to have 4 wives. Now, I'm not totally educated on this, but they said that that's something that they wouldn't do, that they found uncomfortable, that they thought was somewhat wrong. And we were breaking it down, and I thought, you know what, like, I don't know if I sound like weird, but I thought like it seems reasonable to me to think that, yep, like a man could have 4 wives. And they were breaking it down. They were like, okay, but why can't a woman have 4 husbands? It's the same thing. And I was like, no, but that's like a logical fallacy, because then we're saying men and women are the same, and we're not. We should have equality, but we're not the same. The idea is that men generally do have more wealth, and so if there's a man who can provide for more than one woman and have a bigger family, like that's a really positive thing. Then my friend was saying, no, but like, he knows this Muslim woman who says that she wouldn't do it either, that it would break her heart. And I said, yeah, fair enough. You're not going to be forced into a situation like that. And of course, the women who were in that type of relationship would, be consent to it and sign up to it, hopefully. Disagreements are how we grow. I mean, it was fantastic to have a conversation like this, because previously, Sam will back me up, I'd say at least 95 of my conversations are just about me being horny as and wanting to sleep with girls. And so this was one of the first times we were talking about something that was actually like intellectual, and that brought up disagreements and opinions and facts and values. And I want you to experience the same thing. You've got to stop being a coward and start disagreeing with people. You must know that I'm going through my self-improvement journey alongside you, so I'm learning as I teach these concepts myself. That means that I'm wrong probably 50, maybe more % of the time. When, not if, but when I say something that's so wrong and you know it is, you should have the capability and the confidence to disagree with me. If you're part of like my inner circle and you've got me on Discord or WhatsApp, message me and tell me that you disagree. If you're someone who likes to comment and start discussions on YouTube, say something. Say like, Hamza, like, I think you're wrong here and why. Don't be a don't be like a black pillar, like, oh, this guy's a packy and his left ear sticks out. Shut the bro. But when you give an intellectual argument and you break down points and you say it in a loving way, sometimes you really need to remind the person as well, like, oh, by the way, like, I really like your videos, but I think you're wrong about this. Because otherwise it can sometimes come across as like hate if you say, no, you're wrong. It's better to say something like, oh, you really make good points sometimes, but this one may not be incorrect. With my experience, it's been more like this. Like, that's a fantastic way. And then imagine me replying to your comments and me and you getting into a discussion and how much we would both grow from that. Now do the same thing with your family and your friends. When your friend says some bullshit, call him out on it and see his response, because this will really show you the kind of man he is and the friendship that you truly have. When you call your friend out on some bullshit, you disagree with your friend, how do they react? Do they treat you badly? Do they act like a little Are they like cowards? Do they have no humility? Are they full of ego? Because if they are, if you respect yourself, you probably wouldn't stay around with someone like that. But if they take it well and they go silent and they deeply think about what you've just said and they really take it on board, that's a fantastic friend, and it really shows that you have like a nice level of influence on them. That's a beautiful friendship right there. You could grow together with that person. Scroll down right now and click on the share button underneath this video. Send the link over to a Jeffrey friend who might need it. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.